okay, thank. And then we just walked out. And I was on the other side of that in Atlanta, where we had no money, and like,
now you're seeing why you're not.
And it's like that's all that you just go up and you say these things, even if he wasn't lying or even exaggerating. It's still just, it was very eye-opening. Like, oh, nobody cares. This is all you have to do. It's just a perfunctory thing. You have to go to the court on this, on the 16th at 11:42. You go in there. They ask you 10 questions. You answer them, and then you leave. And 5 minutes later, you're back home, not sending money to your kids. And just the barest. Talking about that, my mom never asked for a penny more than we didn't get anything. But anyway, yeah.
So what happens at 19 for you to finally say, all right, that's it?
Well, again, it was cumulative. It was also just becoming my own person, becoming independent, and becoming, that stuff starts taking shape when you're a teenager anyway, and having a...
You actually got to live both sides of that equation too, and really see how the hot dogs are made.
Yeah, and
or not.
Not that it wouldn't have surprised me if somebody had said that, but just kind of being a part of that. And also there's the unspoken kind of underlying part of it that was there, which is he didn't even bother to, like, he didn't care that, or he didn't, not that he didn't care, it was such a part of his thing and part of his world, and this is just how it works. It didn't matter whether I was there to go, hey Dad, when did you try to get a job? And it didn't matter. That's the thing he did, and you go in, and even if I had a big argument with him, he'd probably just go, well then go the fuck home then. Go back to Atlanta, without the swear words. But, that was just a weird part of it. It was like, that's okay. It's just like, yeah, but there were just so many, so he ended up coming back to, so it was comical. When I got out there, we were in a suburb of Scottsdale called Fountain Hills, and we were at somebody's house, somebody he made friends with and told some sob story to. Again, I don't know what brought him to Phoenix in the first place. It's such a weird, and my sister Wendy and I have just not cracked that yet. Yeah, he's alive. He's in New York. He's been there since I moved there in early 2001, spring of 2001, and he was there.
One of the fans just hit him with an anonymous email. Hey, Barry.
Oh, I have no interest, zero.
Get to Phoenix.
And he, he's out of my head, really, but occasionally, very rarely, I very rarely find myself on the Upper East Side, but occasionally I'll be riding my bike, whatever, I'll have some work or something will bring me to, because I know he's in like the upper 60s, 70s on the East Side, somewhere like First or Second Avenue, Third Avenue, something like that, and I'll just have forgotten about his existence, and then as I get closer, I'll be like, oh right, Dad lives up here somewhere, but he's, there are a couple of relatives, his nieces, that are still in touch with him, that they worship. That's another beautiful aspect of this whole thing, is his ability to convince other people to take his side, that are, they have a bigger, a stronger relationship with him. That's their uncle. Then the uncle outweighs the cousins in a sense. And when there was a market split when my mom and dad separated. And again, he left. My mom didn't ask him to leave. My mom didn't, I'm sure it came as quite a shock and a punch in the stomach to her that he would move us all down to Roswell, Georgia, and then leave soon afterwards. Right after we were evicted, too. We were evicted from our... Yeah. It was...
Holy.
So we lived in a like a motel for a couple weeks, and we were there while, again, I don't know why the fuck he went down there. Obviously we had to have been for support, because why else would you go to Roswell, Georgia? But went down there. We were in a motel a couple weeks. We got an apartment, and we were there for about 3 months, I want to say, and that's where I turned 10, and then we got picked up. Our neighbor was this guy named Peter George. He's a really cool guy. He's the first guy to kind of get me into like rock music. Like he got me into the Who and Sgt. Pepper's. I remember that. And he usually the bus would let us off at the bus stop, and then when all the kids would walk down through the apartment complex into their various, it wasn't a fancy place, and I don't think my younger sister was in school yet, but this guy Peter George, our neighbor, drove up after we were let off by the bus, and he was going to give us a ride down to the apartment, which is a 2.5 minute ride tops, just because of speed bumps, and the whole reason was to kind of soften the blow of what we were about to see. That's why my mom sent him up there, and we come down there, and they're literally, it's very filmic in a sense as we're approaching. These guys, they had locked some of the doors to I guess take some of the things that we had to because we hadn't paid rent. My mom found out, like an hour prior to that my dad had been lying about paying rent. It had been months, and they, so they took a bunch of our shit and just put it with I wouldn't say lovingly, put it on the front area where there's like those apartment buildings where you have like 4 units in a thing, or 6 units, and just tossing it on the concrete and I had a ham radio. Remember, I had a ham radio that I hadn't really used, but I loved the idea of it, and this I wasn't old enough to really get it, but you'd see the movies where people, and I think my uncle might have given it to me. Somehow I had this ham radio. That was gone. They took that. I'm gonna sell it. And
took that shit.
Yeah, and they had things that they didn't care about.
This was a shit pile to them, even though these are your things, and we might be able to get some money out of this.
And they locked some of the like storage door, whatever, and we didn't have a whole lot, but there was stuff, bedding, clothes. That's literally on the ground, and then we got split up because and we had some really, really super cool neighbors who were very sympathetic, and they said, well, Wendy and Julie can sleep with us and stay at our house, and David can stay here, and you guys can, so we did have places to go. We weren't like sleeping on the street because people kind of came together. I remember really well a girl who was relatively new, like probably had been in the complex for less than a month, starting a collection and going around and getting like a coffee can, and it was like $1.76 or something, like going to the kids and going to people.
That's nice.
It's really nice, really sweet.
Have you ever just been too damn high. Well, we've all been there, and with today's weed, finding your perfect dose can be a dangerous game. Dadgrass is reviving the pleasure of the casual toke, so you can chill out without the stress. Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. They're 100% organic pre-rolled joints, which are my favorite, and flower are very low in THC and high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. Not looking to toke, Dadgrass also offers the finest tinctures and gummies on the market. All the mellow goodness, no smoke required. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. Whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you for it. Right now, Dadgrass is offering my listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/honeydew. Go to dadgrass.com/honeydew for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/honeydew. Try it free for 30 days is enough time to try and completely forget about a subscription or a service. Before you know it, you're paying for a subscription you don't use every single month. With Rocket Money, you can change that with a few quick taps. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot